Testing, testing. One, two, three. You won't believe what happened. I just want to rant. I know, like I said, I'm not gonna be, doing too much this year, but like I'm so dramatic. I'm still very much dramatic. So I literally recorded an episode and I could see like the speaker thingy going on, like the sound what is it, the equalizer or whatever that shows that someone is talking, right? And I have my headphones on, the mic is on, so I'm thinking the no, the mic, I was holding the mic, but I didn't check with it was on. Tell me why the mic was off the whole time. The whole time. Is this what it's like being a creator? Because like yo. But anyway, as the grown woman I am now, I picked up the mic, plugged it in, and started again. Never give up. I'm very upset, but it's okay. It's okay. Maybe I'll feel better after this. Maybe I will, but this is so real, guys. Welcome to Actually Let's Talk About It. And I want to talk about ChatGPT. Okay. ChatGPT is really it's a really controversial topic. I think a lot of people use it. Me, of course, I use ChatGPT. Honestly, I love ChatGPT. And here's why. Here's why. Ever since I started using ChatGPT in like my daily routine, my planning, my budgeting, just trying to like bring order into certain things, like giving myself timelines and stuff like that. I honestly feel like ChatGPT has changed the game because like I feel like I'm more well organized. I feel like idea wise, I'm able to put my thoughts on paper. And like, I really, really feel like a lot of people underestimate the benefits of ChatGPT. If you're a person who doesn't, let's say, open up to people easily, I feel like ChatGPT has very good like journaling prompts because I'm that type of person. I cannot go to a person and say, oh my gosh, this is what happened to me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, I feel like I struggle with that. So I prefer to write though, because I prefer to journal. I prefer to write about stuff or like, now I'm talking about things, but like, yeah, maybe record voice memos and stuff and send voice notes, maybe, but not necessarily like me, myself, and I sitting down, reflecting on an incident or reflecting on something that happened that probably triggered me or that made me feel some type of way or that made me feel happy or just a memory you're trying to like keep track of. And I honestly feel like ChatGPT has helped me in that regard, being able to just be in tune with the feelings that you're feeling in that moment instead of bottling up things and then having to face the repercussions and ending up being like a damn crash out in the club. Like this, you have no business doing that, ma'am. Go sit down, write about how you feel. Stop projecting. But anyway, yeah. So in that regard, ChatGPT, yeah, it's good. But a big but everything has duality. There's always good, there's always bad, right? And I feel like people need to understand the purpose or people should just use their discernment when it comes to do things like ChatGPT because AI for me really doesn't make sense. Like for me, I'm still battling with it and I'm still trying to understand how I can pick an accent, I get instant responses, and the constant reinforcement a an echo chamber, like the constant reinforcement of your bias, like the fact that because ChatGPT doesn't have exposure to different culture, to things like identity, to things like pain, to things like struggle, or to things like happiness, joy, love, all of those emotions, the fact that this thing doesn't have emotions, I feel like, I don't know. That's weird. Don't you think it's weird interacting with something that doesn't have feelings? Like that doesn't like that I don't know. Like that cuz I feel like if something or if a person doesn't have feelings or has zero emotions or like emotional intelligence or emotional awareness, it's capable of a lot of things. And where do we draw the line here, right? And with everything, it's all about the human, the person. Because, I feel like I've watched a lot of Black Mirror. So this doesn't end well every time in Black Mirror. You think, first of all, side note, let's talk about how Black Mirror is so unpredictable. I've never seen a series or watched a series that just keeps you on your toes and you just don't know what's going to happen next. And for us people who are, overthinkers, Black Mirror is a great show because it doesn't give you the time to think about anything. You just get gagged every single time. Okay. Anyway, but like I said, for example, this is something that let's imagine. I know it's crazy what I'm about to say, but I need to let's talk about it. Imagine if Ted Bundy had access to ChatGPT. Just imagine that. Like I say, there's the good and there's the bad. Some people are using ChatGPT for their businesses, for some for their essays, some for inspiration, some for encouragement, some for ideas. There's somebody else who's using ChatGPT for foolery. Foolery! Like there's someone out there, for example, a man. Of course it's a man. A man proposed to ChatGPT while he was living with his baby mama. Baby mama ain't got no ring, okay? She living with this man with child. They have a child together, unmarried, and this man proposed to ChatGPT. Just a reminder, men actually like what is going on? And that's why I want to understand where we draw the line because somebody else is using it for that, and then someone else is using for productivity, for planning, for someone else is using it intentionally. But I go back to the Ted Bundy analogy where it's like, okay, this murderer has access to a an artificial intelligence thing, right? That gives him ideas and reinforces his ideas. I honestly, unpopular opinion, ChatGPT can low key be, not even low key, depending on what you're feeding it, can low key be an enabler. So ChatGPT is not gonna call you out. I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe like, for example, it literally tells you what you want to hear. Imagine if a person who's delusional has access to ChatGPT. Imagine what type of crash out they are or the type of person that they're going to be. Like, imagine a narcissist having access to ChatGPT or, I don't know, like people with very polarized, like the people with very different personalities and personalities that have the possibility, like, or that have, the chance of harming another person. I don't know whether they should have access to that. I honestly feel like people should have a psych evaluation before they have access to ChatGPT. because it's just I don't know because like I'm just thinking about there are some people who are being menaces right now because of AI, and I keep slandering Chat GPT. I'm talking about AI in general. Like, imagine slandering, like not even imagine slandering. Sorry, scratch that. I mean, like imagine the ideas that some people have because some people have good ideas and using things for good and then others are using the bad ideas and using them for bad and actually following through them, you know. This one day I went through the different I don't know which version of ChatGPT this was, but it was the audio version, right? And there was a selection of voices. I don't know whether you know what I'm talking about. Where like it's bluey, it's a bluish color circle or sphere. Oopsie, sphere. Yes, that don't come for me. But that thing, and it had different ranges of like voices. The different voices had different personalities. So there was the chirpy one, like, "Hi, how are you? I'm here to help." And then there was this, the low key like sad one, like, "Hi, you're here again. What do you want?" I was so gagged because I was like, okay, the fact that I get to pick what type of frequency I want to be on or what type of emotion I'm trying to have right now. And the thing that has the power to determine that is me. And then I choose, let's say I feel really sad. And then I pick the sad one. And then the sad one makes me feel even shitty about myself, like even more shitty about myself. I literally had a conversation with the sad one, and this sad one just made me feel terrible. I was just like, "Oh my god, no. Like you're literally in my phone. You're not a real thing. Why are you talking to me like that? What's going on?" No. And imagine if someone who's let's say depressed or someone who is just going through a lot is having no one to talk to or doesn't have the energy to go outside or has that anxiety of just being seen and everything. And then all they have is just their phone. They just have ChatGPT. They're having a shitty day. And then the sad voice, she chooses the sad voice, whatever. And then all of a sudden, she's even more sadder. Then the next day, she doesn't want to leave the house because you and this AI are emotionally bonding or trauma bonding or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I know this is so crazy. I feel like y'all are finding out more about me, but I love Big Mouth. I love Big Mouth. I said it. Come for me. I don't care. I love Big Mouth. But in this, the depression cat, right? In Big Mouth, like the big depression cat. And every time, what's that little girl name? I never know the names. I suck at names. That little girl, red hair girl, right? Yeah, that one. She every time she entertained the depression cat, the cat got bigger. Like the cat would always get bigger every time every time she would reinforce the echo chamber, the cat would get bigger. And that's my worry and that's my concern about ChatGPT as well and just AI in general. And I honestly feel like the relationships that people are going to have with each other is going to change the game. Like, people are going to struggle with just basic human interaction. People are going to struggle with things like intimacy. People are going to struggle with things like differences because with AI, I feel like AI just reinforces what you want and what you feel, and you actually close yourself off to a lot of exposure to someone different from you or different opinions or ideologies or just like life in general, basically being outside. And I feel like we need to really be careful about, you know, the I feel like it's something to think about, especially people who are planning on procreating. Like, um, like if this is what's going on now, people are proposing to AI. There's literally the movie Her with that guy who was that Joker. You see, names, I'm bad. That guy who was the Joker, yeah, that guy. Um, you in that movie, he literally falls in love with AI. He falls in love, and he's a lonely man and doesn't like interact with people. And some people may argue and say, listen, not everybody is going. There are some people who are there are some people who are gonna have to die alone, and I guess AI is there to keep them, company. But I'm like, okay, fine, AI is there, but then it's going to evolve. Soon it's gonna be a robot. Soon it's gonna be a whole army. Like, let's. I feel like these type of thoughts just affect like my daily motivation because now I'm just like, what is going on? But um, like with everything, I think it's important to always have discernment. For example, yeah, you are driving a car that has a speedometer that's like up to like 400 kilometers per hour, right? But that doesn't mean you have to get that far. You don't that doesn't mean you have to speed. It really does. You don't need to do that. You don't have to be doing that. There's absolutely no need for that, especially if you're not a Formula One, NASCAR driver, race car, whatever. If you're none of that, stop speeding. Stop. But anyway, yeah, that's where the speedometer is, but that doesn't mean you need to do all of that. You get what I'm saying? It's just the same thing with these things that are just being introduced. You just need to just use your discretion and just be wise about certain things that have access to you. And also, everything is just in moderation. Everything. It's the same thing with drugs, it's the same thing with alcohol. It's the same thing with, for example, things like weapons, things like all of that. Like it's the same thing. It's up to you as a person to use your discretion. You get what I'm saying? Because it's just like, and not everyone who owns a gun, not everyone who owns a gun is a murderer. You get what I mean? It's like the same thing with these things like AI and whatever. You need to just be careful. Okay? You have no business doing all of that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I feel much better now. I think the other episode was just like all over the place and jumpy and burnt toast theory. Burnt toast theory. I think there was a reason why it wasn't plugged in. So, yeah, maybe this episode is actually going to do better. So, thank you for tuning in. And I've been really enjoying being myself now. I feel like before I used to hide who I was, but I'm very much being myself. So, this is who I am. I'm Ayanda. I am your host. And thank you for tuning in, setting time aside, whether you are washing the dishes, whether you in your car, whether you're on a plane, whether you're in Africa, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in the pits, I'm here. just a little, just a little distraction. So go about your day, be safe, enjoy your life, and life really doesn't have a formula. You'll be fine. It actually gets better. It actually gets better. Remind yourself that every day. But yeah, and bye.